Good morning dear students. Today I will start chapter 18, pollution of air and water. Yesterday I discussed about how does water get polluted and what are the causes of water pollution. And now come to the case study Ganga river. Ganga is a sacred river of India and lakhs of people depend on it for their daily needs and livelihood. As it flows through different towns and cities, it gets polluted because of large quantities of garbage, untreated sewage, dead bodies and harmful chemicals from industries are thrown in it. At many places, the pollution levels are so high that no aquatic life can survive and the river is virtually dead at these places. Lakhs of people that depend on it for their daily needs on the Ganga river, and it flows through different towns and cities and it get polluted because of large quantities of garbage, different kind of garbage and untreated sewage, dead bodies and harmful chemicals from industries are thrown in it, and many places the pollution levels are so high, so aquatic life are in danger because of this. So to reduce the pollution levels in the river, the government of India launched in 1985 an ambitious plan called the Ganga Action Plan. Let us study what happens to Ganga at Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. Here Ganga is the most polluted. Why so? Kanpur is a densely populated town of UP and people take bath, wash clothes and even defecate in the river. Garbage and flowers, items of goods and goddess of polythene bags are all thrown into it. But most important of all, Kanpur has more than 5,000 industries, fertilizers, detergents, leather paints industries and many others. The toxic chemical wastes are also discharged into the river. Toxic chemical substances are also discharged into the river, and the chemicals released include lead, arsenic and fluorides, which causes toxicity in living organisms including plants. The untreated sewage thrown into the river contains food wastes, detergents and disease causing microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, fungi and parasites. And these cause diseases like cholera, jaundice and typhoid. The quality of water and its contamination can be known by the presence or absence of certain bacteria in it, and if water contains these bacteria, it means that it is contaminated with fecal matter. If bacteria is present in that water, means it is contaminated with fecal matter. And pesticides and weedicides, which are sprayed on the crops for their protection, are also poisonous chemicals, and these chemicals, being water soluble, are carried to the water bodies from the fields by rain or irrigation water, and they also seep into the ground to pollute ground water. Once a water body like a pond or a lake, they act as nutrients for algae to grow, and a lot of oxygen is used by the algae from the river, and this results in a decrease in the oxygen level, and as a result killing of aquatic organism takes place. Potable water. What is the potable water? Water that is fit for drinking is called potable water. Water that is fit for drinking is called potable water. When you go to your school, you carry your water bottles along with the school bag. Why is it that you do not get water in your school, or that your parents are not sure about the quality of water? Let us understand what kind of water is fit for drinking. So what is the potable water? Water that is fit for drinking is called the potable water, and potable water is therefore safe for drinking, such as water does not cause any waterborne diseases. Characteristics of drinking water. Characteristics of drinking water. It should be pleasant to taste. It should be colorless and odorless. It should be free from the germs and suspended impurities. And it should be free from harmful chemicals. It should contain dissolved gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. 25% of the world's human population does not get safe drinking water. What are the characteristics of drinking water? It should be pleasant to taste, and it should be colorless and odorless, and it should be free from the germs and suspended particles or suspended impurities present in the water, and it should be free from the harmful chemicals are present. It should contain dissolved gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. Did you know 25% of the world's human population does not get safe drinking water? And purification of drinking water. How we can purify water? How we can purify water? These days in every house you find a water treatment apparatus, and this is either a candle filter or AquaGuard. And ask your grandparents whether you had either of these to purify water, and the answer will be an emphatic no. In old days, earthen pots were used for storing, cooling and purifying water. An earthen pot thus served these three purposes. No refrigerators during those days for cooling water. Let us perform the following activity as 18.5 to see if we can remove suspended impurities by a single method in our homes. Activity 18.5. Take a sample of water containing suspended impurities in a beaker, and take a large piece of alum and immerse it in the water in a beaker. Gently rotate it inside water 3 to 4 times. Now take out the alum. Observe what happens. After some time, you will find that the suspended particles which have been made heavy by the addition of alum start settling at the bottom of the beaker. The water becomes clear. So till here you will take revision.